Welcome back to my keto recovery. I hope you're having a great day. Was just going to throw together a couple of ideas here. One of the questions I get asked from my clients and others in this lifestyle is what to do when I go out and eat at a restaurant. How do I make the best decisions? And I threw together about 11 tips here that I have for eating out at restaurants. And I'm just going to go over them real quickly here for you. If you've got your own tips, I'd advise you to add them to the comments, and just give your advice that way, because that's how I learn from others as well. So I'd love to get feedback. So one of the first big steps I have is basically just having a plan before you go out, if it is all possible. I know that myself included, when I wing it is kind of when it can be a little bit more dangerous. And a little more frustrated, and you're hungry and you're trying to make a decision, and you might be in the temptation to say, screw it, and you just maybe make a decision that isn't the best for your health. So if you're going out and you're planning to go out, try to have a plan before you do that. A lot of my other steps here are going to kind of relate to that, just having a plan. And not only just having a plan for when you're going out, but what's your plan for the day after? How will you handle that? What will that look like? If you're having an off day, what's your plan to get back on track and stay on track with your health goals? Or maybe it's a whole weekend, who knows? It's really up to your health goals and what you want to pursue, that you want to partake in. So that's what I would just say is that's the big first step, is having a plan. The other thing is, when you're going out, is you can do a lot of research on websites. And if you're out and about and you're trying to make a decision, this is kind of a great help, because you can go out and most restaurants nowadays will have their menus online. They might not have the particulars, but you kind of get a general idea, at the very least, of what they'll have to eat in their restaurant. So that's a good first step, is to check them out and kind of go from there. The other thing I'd recommend is basically just look for proteins on the menu. This is a good place to start with us in the ketogenic lifestyle. The goal of a ketogenic diet, or lifestyle as I like to say, is the basic goal is to stay in ketosis. Some decisions are better than others to make us stay in ketosis, so I always like to try to eat whole food if I can, and just focus on that point. But look for your proteins, your steaks, your eggs, your burgers, chicken, shrimp, a lot of other seafood, pork, and kind of go from that way. But yeah, so I would just recommend kind of starting from that point. And then the other thing I'd recommend is avoiding sauces or condiments, that kind of thing. Most will have like sugar or seed oils in them. And it's just, that doesn't set you up good in this lifestyle if you have a lot of exposure to those. Now, some condiments are okay, like mustard, maybe not honey mustard, but mustard in general is fairly safe and innocuous. So those kind of things, you can kind of, if you do your research, you can kind of find out. But if restaurants kind of make their own blend, we don't really know what's in them. Some dressings are kind of suspect as well. A lot of them will have sugar in them. So it's up to your decision and how you want to approach that. The other thing I'd recommend is swapping out certain things in the restaurants. Like a lot of burgers, like we can eat the burger patties. We want to avoid the buns, but they'll come with fries a lot of times, and that's a hard strike no in this lifestyle that will throw you out of ketosis. So if you order something, hey, could I have a side of broccoli, or could I have or just don't bring out the fries, just the burger by itself. Some other condiment where it's safe that it won't throw you out of ketosis, and ask to swap things out. A lot of people, they're a little sad that they might have a burger without a bun and a patty comes out, so maybe they want a little lettuce wrap around it. That's another option as well. So just try to swap out things where you can as well, see if that's an option. A lot of restaurants are very accommodating that way. They want to make you happy. They want you to come back, and they want you to have a good experience, so you'll maybe tell others. So, and then ask your waiter or waitress about food preparation as well. That's another great step. And you might have to and this will come into my last step as well, but they might not be as knowledgeable. They might have to like go back and ask the chef or, people in the kitchen how they prepare things, because they're just not going to know. They're there to serve the food. They don't make it. So they might not be as knowledgeable. So just have a little flexibility and a little patience with them, and that can go a long ways as well. The next tip I would have for you is this is something that's an option, and maybe it's not the most optimal for a lot of people, but you could actually eat before you go out, and then maybe you just grab like a small appetizer or maybe a drink, and just to enjoy people's company. That is an option too. You are not mandated to eat at a restaurant. The restaurant maybe will have a policy that you have to buy something, but at the same time, they will not. You are not obligated by anything to basically order a whole meal or anything like that. So that is an option as well if it's best for you to maybe take a step like that, or they just don't have as many options as you like. And also, just this is the other thing too. Sometimes friends will go out. You'll go out with friends, and they'll see that you're maybe eating differently, and they might pressure you, like, "Oh, maybe you could have that piece of cheesecake, have some dessert, enjoy this cookie or what have you." And just remember, it's okay to say no. That's my next tip. You are in this lifestyle. This is your health goal. This is your health journey. And maybe they're trying to show compassion and appreciation for you and just letting you know that it's okay to go off plan. But at the same time, this is your decision. If you want to stick by it, it is absolutely fine to do that. You are not offending anyone if you try to do that. So keep in mind of your health goals as well, so you can keep that focus on. The other thing is, when it comes to beverages, I would say most things are not going to be ideal or optimal in this lifestyle. So I usually just stick with ice water. It's usually my go-to. I actually drank a lot of ice water before I got in this lifestyle. So it was kind of a natural switch for me. But ice water is my friend a lot of times. Maybe you can have, there are things like diet sodas and those kind of things as well. But I would say, like, while some of those won't throw you out of ketosis, they can be very triggering if you have food addiction issues. And they aren't good sometimes for gut health and those kind of things as well. It's just not optimal to be in this lifestyle. My second to last tip here is to Google chain restaurants. So if you're at a national or regional chain in your area, and kind of a good little trick to do, like if you went to Olive Garden, you could put Olive Garden Keto and hit a Google search. Or you put like McDonald's Keto, or so if you're going out to a fast food restaurant or something. There'll be blogs and posts and websites that'll pop up with keto options for those restaurants. I would say don't go with just one. Like, don't try to get confirmation bias and try to look for one that'll get what you want it to say. I remember one time I was on a website and it says, "Look, no matter how hard you ask, fries at McDonald's are not going to be keto friendly." So I think they were probably exasperated because somebody was trying to either convince themselves that fries could be keto friendly. So I would go with a consensus opinion on that. You don't want to go to two or three sites and just see if they kind of say in general the same thing. The last one is what I call is kind of my last resort. I don't advise using this because it's just good practice not to. I call it the white lie. Generally, you don't want to use this one often, and sometimes you might get a little confusion from the waitstaff. You're asking all these questions, and you're asking about how the food is prepared. Do they use seed oils on the grill, or and you're asking like, "Hey, I have some issues." So I have used this a few times. I don't like to use it very often, but if they're kind of you're either not getting the answer you want, or you just want to make it clear that this is something that you really want to focus on, say, "Hey, look, I'd like to have this food here, but I'm finding that I don't have a good reaction to, whether it's vegetable oil or seed oils or canola oil. And I just want to make sure that the grill is clean before it's cooked, and I don't have any cross-contamination or anything. Just this is why I'm being really specific and asking. And maybe that's a little bit of a white lie. It is for me. Some people maybe do have direct experience with that, but it's okay to tell a little white lie maybe just to kind of get the result you want. Now, I will say I have used this, and a chef came out and asked what the hell was going on. So that does happen. So, like I say, be careful with it. And, they're very concerned about allergies and that kind of, bad food reactions and that kind of thing. And they take it very seriously, at least most restaurants do. So they just want to make sure that you're going to be comfortable and you're going to enjoy your experience at their establishment. So those are just about 11 tips I threw together. If you have some tips you'd like to add, go ahead and add it into my comments. I learn from you guys as much as I hope you learn from me. Maybe I'll learn more from you. More than likely I will. So just go ahead and add your comments, and I'd be glad to see those, because it's really interesting to hear other people's takes. So just wanted to throw together those tips. You guys have a fabulous day, and I'll see you in the space.